Hello, my lovely edge dwellers. This is Lucca, Power Sorcerer, and you're tuning in to Ask Lucca Live, episode 15 on June the 27th. And so we continue. We're just going to take a minute here to collect up all the people who will be attending today. Hi, Kelly. And then we'll start. So if you're coming in on the recording of this, if you want to forward in about a minute, then you'll be able to see where we start in earnest. And in the meantime, we're being friendly and collecting the community together. So hi, Harrison. This is the highlight of my Saturday. Well, and then whatever I do socially on Saturday evening. So hi, Flora. Hi, Chantel. I think Saturdays are. You get your work done during the day and then you play in the evening, right? So hi, Kimberly. It's fake Flora. Hi, Peggy. Pepper Peggy. It's been ages since I've seen you. It's lovely to have you here, and I got your question, so hopefully we will get to it today. Hi, Henrietta. Hi, Zoe. So we're assembling the gang, which is wonderful. So I'm going to... hi, other Flora. Hi, Desiree. Just to get a few housekeeping items out of the way here, I'm trying very hard. My mother's been giving me feedback on how I come across on camera. And she says, I have to look at the camera, and the camera is this little tiny pinprick on one side of my screen and not where my notes are and not where the feed is coming up. So I'm going to try very hard to look at the little black dot. I should probably put a Post-it note with an arrow that points towards it. But we're all a work in progress, right? So in the I put some notes pinned to the top in the Ask Lucca Live group. Hi, Carolina. And that's just a few things to remember about when I'm reading, thinking about a few things to think about. So what I say to everybody when I start a group like this is that your gut feel about what's right for you is more important than anything anybody can tell you, and that includes me. So never give your power away to anybody else. You are the ultimate authority on you. So if I tell you something that doesn't quite fit for you, or I tell somebody else something that the information doesn't seem to fit with your belief system or your values or whatever, or you're not sure about it, then take it and put it in what I call a holding tank and leave it there until you get some validation on it. So never take somebody else's word before your own. Hi, Ruby. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is tuning into my higher self, my guides. And there's more information about what all of these things are. And I'm going to be putting recordings together about definitions on all of these things. But if you want more information, then just let me know, and I will endeavor to clarify for you. But we have lots of questions today, so I want to get to them. So I'm tuning into my higher self through my energy field. I'm tuning into my guides. I'm tuning into any of the dead pets or dead relatives. I'm tuning into the angelic realm, and that's not necessarily religious unless that's the lens through which you see your world. But it's a sacred, they seem to have sacred kind of energy around them. And you always know when they come through because my eyes get shiny and there's lots of love. You can feel the love. And I also tune into the intergalactic realm. So, and I'm doing that not just for me, but for you also, for you in the group, all of you who are listening and all of you who will listen when this is in recording, because time and space are not what we think they are. So it doesn't matter if you listen in the future or you listen in the present. Although it's great fun for me to have you here in what we call our present. So I'm tuning into all of that. And then I'm giving the answers from there. So I don't edit. If I get the information, you get the information. Because I have set my intention before we started the session, and I will set it again now. And that is that all the information that comes through is going to be for your highest good and mine. And then we trust that what comes through is going to be exactly that. So we're going to answer today the asked and the intended questions. I always say and the intended because sometimes the information you need is not necessarily the information you knew to ask for. So that's how that one comes about. To receive answers that are soulfully helpful to all of you here today and those who will listen later. So I think we're good to go. That's covered all of my housekeeping items. At the end of the session, I take about 5 minutes to explain about the other services that I offer and how you can get in touch with me and the social places I am on social media. Hi, Nina. On all of those different bits and pieces. So if you want that information, then know that you will find it at the towards the end in the last 4 or 5 minutes at the end. So here we go. I'm just going to close my eyes just for a moment and find, I don't even need to close my eyes. I've got it. Okay. So we've got the teams in place. You can do the same thing. Just close your eyes just for a second and imagine the team that's in place. All of us who are here, because there's 14 of us on this session right now as I say this. And then there's all of our guides and helpers, each of us individually, and then collectively we've got the whole group as well. So let's start with our first question today, which is from Tracy. Some of these, the questions, the formulation of the questions is quite long, and I am going to read the whole thing because I think that the state that we're in when we're grappling with trying to find our questions is common to many of us. So when I read it, I'm tapping into those pieces of all of you and of me at the same time because I'm a human being and I'm curious as well. So Tracy says, I'd like a peek into the next 6 months or so, please. I know I'm busy with downloads, etc. and letting go, but I feel like life is simply cruising, not complaining, just not a lot of anything much going on. What or where to next? And is there a who included? So this is for Tracy. Tracy is, I would call Tracy a seeker. Tracy travels all around the world. She's confined at the moment. She can't go anywhere. But basically Tracy is a seeker. And so seeking is right there in her question. So know that when you ask a question, even if it's in your prayers or if it's in your, setting up your intention for your meditation practice or whatever it is, that who you are and what you're looking for is already in the question, which I think is just amazing. So, Tracy, what can they give you today? They're saying to you, coming back to basics, they're saying to you, breathe, just breathe. My yoga teacher was telling me this week. We were talking about how yoga is also breathing, but life is breathing. Sometimes the best thing that we can do is just breathe. Breathe and be present in the moment. When we think that time is linear and we're stretching it out over a continuum, then very often, if we're not entirely comfortable with what's here and now, we start pushing ourselves. Hi, Camellia. We start pushing ourselves into the future. And as soon as we start pushing ourselves into the future, we're not paying attention to the here and now. And we may be, in this present moment, missing something that's really precious. So what they're saying to you, Tracy, is breathe and pay attention in the present moment. And know that you create your future out of your present. So nothing is more important than the present that you're sitting in. And I'm tapping my head here because I need to pay attention to this too, because we all fall into this, what's going to happen after we come out of the virus and what's going to happen when we go back to work and what's going to happen, etc., etc. So stay in the present moment. And that's the biggest, most important thing, Tracy, that they can say to you today. There is going to be lots of who's in your future. They're not telling me about a particular who at the moment. So I'm going to leave that one for the time being because they're saying stay in the present moment and stay with the who's who are in the present moment, even if it's neighbors or it's people that you see when you go into the village to do your shopping or wherever it is. We can chat. All right. So that's for Tracy. Question number 2 is from Lisa. Lisa says, I'd like to know what this hypothyroid is a manifestation of. Not healing what within me. And this question is really important because I think this happens to a lot of us. We have some kind of symptom that we're carrying around. I'm pointing at myself here because all of our bodies have something that we're carrying around. And we think that if the symptom isn't going away, we must be missing something. There must be something sitting right under our noses that we're missing. And as soon as we go into that place, we start worrying. And because my friend of mine used to say kvetching, and we start narrowing it, because that's what worry does. It tenses up. It's like if you imagined us being a vessel, like a blood vessel. As soon as we worry, we start to constrict it, and then less information can come through. So breathe. That's the next piece, right? Breathe. So let me read the rest of, before I start answering, let me read the rest of the question from Lisa. I do like to think of myself as very well versed in managing emotions, and but evidently I have metaphysically manifested hypothyroid, and I look forward to balancing my thyroid without a lifetime of synthroid or other natural measures. I want to balance my emotions, but what emotions? I've been through so much. It's picking and choosing. I'm sure it has to do with the throat chakra. Yes, because it's in the thyroid. The throat chakra has to do with willpower and self-expression, that on the most basic level. So, if our jaws lock up, that has to do with that too. And the thyroid is part of a whole system that balances the emotions within the body. So you're getting, Lisa, you're getting the same kind of information that I am. So let's see if they have something specific. Yes, they do have something specific to say to you. So I'm just going to close my eyes here and find this little packet of information. Okay, so they're saying, Lisa, that you already have this information and it's already working. It's already beginning to evolve. You could do with something that will hit the reset for you, but not quite yet. So sometime in the next, what I'm getting is couple of months, but bear in mind that time and space are not what we think they are, so I might be getting the time wrong on this, but it feels like over the summer sometime. You'll meet somebody who works with energy, whether they do it consciously or subconsciously. They work with energy, and they're going to help you to reset your energy around your thyroid. And then you'll have like a firm platform to go from. In the meantime, watch what's coming up for you emotionally on a regular basis. Even how having hypothyroidism is affecting you. What is it? How does it feel when you think about it? When you notice it in your body, and play with it. We want to bring that playful sense of curiosity to our bodies, to whatever it is that we're pondering about what's coming towards us from the future. All of those pieces. Hi, Steve. We want to be paying attention. Be curious. Be curious. Stay out of criticism and judgment, and stay in compassion for yourself, which is part of the mantra that I've been using for quite a long time. So that's it. It's not a solution, Lisa, I'm afraid. But it is saying you're on the right track. Stay in the present moment, and somebody will come along and help you to reset. So that it's like the scale in the kitchen. When you're weighing something, you want to put the bowl on it first, set it out, zero it out, and then put things in. And that's what you're going to be doing with this. Okay, so third question is Chris. Chris says, how can I move forward? What do I need to know in order to move ahead? I feel as though I've been just treading water for a long time, and as though I want to take the next step, but uncertain what that step should be. And this is so true for so many of us, right? So welcome to the club, Chris. Moving forward, this is not a time right now for some of us to move forward. It is a time for being. For being in the pause, because we have a pause going on right now. And even though some people are starting to go back to work, hopefully we're going back to work at a different pace. So be in the pause. Go back and review it a little bit. Think about what is it that has been happening in the pause that feels good to you. what has not what's frustrated you, but what has felt good. What has this pause allowed you to feel, to express, to connect with? Who has come into your life during this time? And what have those people brought to you? What have you been doing? What have you been reading? What have you been watching online? Because those are all channels through which your intuition will speak to you. So we've all been treading water. So you're not alone in this. The planet has been doing some treading water, but the treading water there's a lot going on underneath it. So just like the ocean is not only the things that float on the top, it's also the great depths that are underneath that we can't necessarily see from our fishing boat or our cruise ship or wherever it is that we're sitting. So know that there are things going on beneath the surface and watch what your intuition is telling you and how. So that's for Chris. Some sort of general answers for these things today, I'm noticing. And there's usually that kind of theme energy as we go through a group like this. So number 4 is Chantel. Does Spirit have any guidance? So I like this question because this is also a broad general. We're going broad and general today. Does Spirit have any guidance for BIPOC women to heal from systemic racism and oppression? I know the belief you have about yourself is extremely important to living your dream life, but when you have spent your life feeling unworthy and less than, how do you unlearn these beliefs? I was just listening to a guy, he was doing a live broadcast like this today from San Francisco. His name is Jim Masters, and he was talking about the idea of karma, and about also about letting go of beliefs, right? And just checking in with the belief and saying, okay, this might have been true at one time, maybe, but and I'm not saying about BIPOC people being worthy. I'm talking about whatever our beliefs are. We might have believed them at one time, or some other people may have believed them. But we're going in and we're looking at them and we're saying, okay, not useful. Not useful. I'm going to let go of these. So it's a practice of what they're telling me is it's a practice of laying them down and walking away from them. And as I was reading your question, I often start to get the answers as I'm reading the question to myself as I copy it onto my list. That it's this idea of what I and my guides call not enough itis. This sense that, hi Morgan, it's not Morgan, it's Teddy. The names come up in the wrong order. So Teddy, you need to be here for this one because you've just come on. So we're talking about not enough itis and what that does to us. And it's comparative. It's not paying attention to what have I got on my plate? Do I have enough food and the right food for my needs on my plate right now? But I'm looking over and I'm saying, what does Joe beside me or Mary beside me, what do they have on their plates? And do they have more than me? Or does theirs look better than mine? Or should I steal one of their French fries? Or how come they got that thing? I didn't see that on the menu. And so what they're suggesting to us is that we bring our attention back onto our own plate and say, does this satisfy my needs right now? And eat what does and leave what doesn't. We don't have to. This was another old belief system, right? That you had to eat everything that was on your plate. And we don't need to eat everything that's on our plates just because it's there, just because we thought we needed to eat it 10 minutes ago. Hi, Lisa. It doesn't mean that we need to eat it. So, checking in. We're constantly coming back and checking in with who am I right now? What do I need right now? Do I have what I need? And is there right around me someone who can give me what I need? So, if I look at what I have on my plate and I don't have the French fries that I want, and I'm not arguing whether they're good for us or not, right? The person beside me might say, do you want any of my fries? I don't want all of these. There is a there's a way, if we trust it, there's a way in which this all balances out. Now, I realize, Chantel, that I'm giving you the energy system. Hi, Trudy. I'm giving you the energy system answer to this, and not the sociological or socioeconomic or anthropological, anthropological answer to this question. I'm giving you an answer that has to do with energy. So we're creating the multidimensional world out of energy, from our energy level, which means our thoughts, and it means our emotions, and it means how much the degree of love. And really, it's not about hate; it's about love. So I'm not going to fix the things that aren't working for me with hate. And Chantel, believe me, I know that's not what you're doing. So we're moving to what does it take to move into that place of love? If the person who's confronting me does not have love, can I move into a place of love inside myself in order to be able to be and take care of myself? And that's, boy, is that. I mean, I'm having conversations with the guides as I'm saying this to you, because I'm thinking, well, how does that help? If you're being pulled over by a cruiser on the highway and you're by yourself, and this is a threatening situation, or you're not being treated fairly, then how does finding love inside yourself help? They're telling me it helps. So obviously I have to practice more of this also. Hi, Paula. So that's what they've got for you at the moment. God, I know this is such a big question, and we're just kind of picking at a little flake of paint on the side of it by talking about this. But hopefully, I'd be really curious to know, because they're directing this question at you, Chantel. And so if they're doing that, then maybe it's landing in a place in you that you might want to share with us afterwards, because I'd be really curious to know whether this is hitting something for you in a way that I'm just not getting yet, because I'm the one who's busy being the mouthpiece for this. So thank you very much for asking that question, and please feel free to come back and ask more like that, because I'm sure that we're not done. I know that we're not done with hearing the answers to these or the questions. Okay, so 5th question is Barb. Barb says, what should be my next steps towards feeling more freedom? So this piggybacks on this staying present. Stay in the present and look at what is feeling good for you right now. What is shiny? What's the direction you'd like to go in? What is calling to you? Who are the people who feel good for you to be around right now? The people who are annoying you, and they're telling me that there are people right now around you who are being, I'm going to call it nicely, I'm going to call it annoying, but we know that it can be a whole lot more than that. So if you imagine that those people are pushing a big red hot button in the middle of your chest. It's the button that triggers you. So if they're pushing that, if you imagine that they're showing you something about yourself that you're not ready or have not been ready to accept yet. And I don't mean that if the person is sitting in front of you and being an idiot, that you're not looking at how much you're an idiot. But it may be that you're criticizing yourself for being an idiot in some way, and that you're not valuing the jester, the idiot inside you, that might be giving you something that's really valuable, but you can't hear it because you're so allergic to the idea that maybe it's an idiot and you can't trust it. So imagine, somebody taught me once that when you're criticizing somebody, you've got 3 fingers pointing back at you, 1 finger pointing at them, and 1 finger pointing up at spirit, which I consider my higher self, or the place where I have access to more useful information. So just that one, and not as a gun. It's not a gun. It's that finger that we point when we're being accusatory. So Play with that one as well. So that's what they're suggesting to you, Barb, that that everything around you, your future is in your present right now. The seeds of your future are in your present. And so step towards everything that feels good and is shiny. And look at everything that looks like it's getting in the way and is being annoying as a gift to you, to show you something about yourself that is a strength that you can use to make that step forward into your freedom, that more freedom that's coming next. But also pay attention to the freedom that you have right now, because you have a whole bunch of freedom right now. All right, Sean wants to know, I'm wondering if you can touch upon my romantic or love interests. Okay, so Sean, first of all, you have to fall in love with yourself, because you are seeing reflected around you not only what you feel about yourself, but also what is true about yourself. And so we can't, if we love outside ourselves and we don't love ourselves, then we will always feel insecure. We'll always feel some trepidation and worry. So that means we've got to go back and look inside ourselves for what is lovable in me, not what don't I love about myself. That, just let it drop. Like, if you don't pay any attention to it, we're going to go like this, and we're just going to flick it down onto the ground and walk over it. What we're going to look at here is the focus on the positive. Focus on what you want more of. So whoever's around you that you really like the way they are, then imagine that you are that way also, and look for the ways in which you are that way. That, if you can follow the syntax on that. So that's your starting place, Sean, is start with loving yourself, and then build on that, because like attracts like. All right, next question, Desiree. Desiree says, I've been starting and not able to finish many tasks lately. Oh boy, have I heard that from a lot of people in the last few weeks. What's preventing me from completing these? Is there an order or plan that I should be following? Yes, follow what feels good. My guides have been saying to me over and over again, and they're saying it for you right now. If it moves, if it flows, if it feels good, do it. If it doesn't, put it down for now. It'll be there when you come back. I mean, unless it's paying your bills. You might have to pay your bills. But other than the essentials that somebody could, turn off your electricity, the rest of it, it's what I call my Jenga block view of life, which is, if you play the game Jenga, you set up, it's like three like wooden blocks this way, and then 3 this way and 3 this way, and you pile them all up. And what you do in the game is you push one and you pull it out and you put it on the top. Well, if you push one and it won't move, then it's stuck. And that means it's weight bearing. And if you push harder on it, it's just going to make your tower topple over. So push the ones that move. They're the ones that are safe to push. So the same thing is true of life. Push the ones that feel good and that move. All right. So, oh my goodness, I just made all my questions go away. How did I do that? I touched something in the wrong place. So recently deleted. There we go. Let's take that one. We're going to move it. That makes me feel really nervous when I... Okay. My apologies for this. I was getting a little concerned because we're coming up to 2:00, and I have a whole bunch more questions to go. So I will give it a few extra minutes, and then I'm going to stop, and the rest of the questions I'll move to the top of the queue for next time. But I hate leaving any questions behind. So that's your answer, Desiree, is follow what's shiny and what moves. Next question, Monica. Monica says my inquiry is about my practice. I love what I do and I would love to do more. How can I expand it and grow my client roster? Do it. So that's what my guides told me to do. They said during this time of COVID, if the clients aren't coming to you, just do it. Get out there where people can find you and just do it. Because it's in the doing of it that you gather the community around you, because it feels good. You're happy, you're doing what you love to do, like attracts like, and more people will collect around you. So that's the short answer to this, Monica, is do it. And if your practice is a hands-on practice, then maybe there's some way in which you can be showing people how to do it on themselves for the time being. Or maybe you can be giving talks about how you do what you do. But stay engaged with it, because you know that that's where the juice is. And I talk about juicy all the time. Juicy and shiny. It's like, ooh, yes, get in there and do that. All right, so that's Monica. Carolina, and I don't know if it's Carolina or Carolina, but you said, will I have success on the new path that I'm taking, and will I find the man of my dreams? That's two questions, and they're not necessarily the same one. Will you have success on the new path? This is a good spot for you to be for the time being, but it's not ultimately where you're going. So consider it as a bridging. It's something that you're doing to bridge into the next thing that isn't quite ready yet. So don't treat this as though this is the be all and end all. Keep looking at how can this move me forward? That your question should be, how can this move me forward? And will you find the man of your dreams? The man of your dreams, I think, will find you, but you have to be truly being yourself and loving yourself and doing what you love to do every day. And that will be attractive to him when he shows up. So less focus on him, because I feel like that's a little bit further down the road, and it has a lot to do with you having success on your new path and enjoying what you're doing. Okay, so the last three questions that I have on here today, I'm going to move to the top of the list for next week. So that's Pepper, Harrison, and Nina. I'll move you all to the top of the roster for next time around. So thank you, all of you, so much for being here today. It does feel to me like there's been a theme around really staying in the present moment, that the future isn't out there somewhere. The future is embedded in what we're doing right here in the moment. And that what's right about here in the moment, you want to keep and do more of and enjoy. And what doesn't feel right, put it down. Just let it drop. If you turn your hand upside down, it'll fall out of your hand, and you won't attract that. What you are attracting, take a look at it, see if it's pushing a great big red button in the middle of you, and see if there's a way in which you've disowned something that's valuable about yourself, if you could just view it in a different way. So my example of that was when I was trying not to be judgmental, and therefore I didn't have any boundaries, and I needed to reframe judgmental as, not judgmental, selfish. Was selfish. I needed to reframe it as self-full, so that I could take care of my own needs and set my own boundaries, and then I could open up more without feeling that judgment towards myself. So there's things like that going on. So I'll leave that all with you. Thank you all for joining me today. I will stay on for a few more minutes to talk about how you can find me if you're interested in doing that. So stick around if you're interested in that. Other than and if you've heard it all before, those of you who've been with me several weeks here, then thank you for being here, and so long. And I'll see you at 1:30 next Saturday. I'm still planning on doing this. So let me move into. I'm a psychic, so I read very much the way I've been reading today. Although on a one-on-one session we go deeper for one person. And if you do it an hour-long session, then we go really deep for you. And so it's deeper and broader. But a 1 hour session really is describing for you all of the things that it's like an X-ray of what's going on in your life right now, and with the current momentum where you're heading with that. So that's the readings, and I also do reading circles, which are a little bit like this. Everybody comes together in a group, and it's a closed group, so we wouldn't have people dropping in. Everybody is there to start at the beginning. And I'm doing them online right now, my reading circles, so we do them on Zoom. So I'm limiting them to 6 people, because 6 people is as many as I can see across my screen, so that I can see all of you while I'm working. And those groups are about 2 hours long, just over 2 hours long, and you can do them from anywhere. So you can get your favorite people together, and I will show up online and do that for you. So if you'd like to know more about that, then please contact me, and I'll give you more information about it. The other side of what I do, so there's two arms to it. One of them is doing readings, and the other one is teaching folks out there about your intuition, how to hear it, how to work with it, skills that you can use to build it, how you can trust it more. Hi, Daphne. We're just wrapping up here, but feel free to come back and listen to the recording. I should have it up by 3. So that's working one-on-one with people. That's what I call power in your back pocket, which is niche coaching around using your intuition in your business and in your life. And then the other piece of what I do around that is the group piece, which is called Power Circles. And we work with 6 people together spread out in sessions over a year. So you're working with the power of the group, learning from one another, building an intuitive community, and using all of those skills along with me. And we're doing that right now over Zoom as well. So those are the possibilities around working with me. Ask Lucca Live is every Saturday from 1:30 until 2. And the recordings go up. I post them on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on my YouTube channel. And the link to my YouTube channel is on the homepage of my website, so you can reach it there. So on my YouTube channel, I have all of the recordings that I have managed to save so far. So I think it's 4 onwards. So, and today was 15. So there's quite a few on there. And this one will be up on there by 3 o'clock today as well. And I've altered my rate structure. So if any of you are feeling like you're a little pinched for cash, but you'd still like to work with me, then please feel free to have a conversation with me, and we'll use my intuition and yours to figure out what is a rate that works for both of us. And I don't shame anybody. And if you try it and you decide that you've changed your mind, I'm not going to get upset with you. There's no shaming or blaming or weirdness around it. It's a conversation. So if that's something you'd like to do, that's great. And I'm doing Ping mini readings. They're 15 minutes for $30. Those you can book through your booking, all of these you can book through the booking page on my website. So the mini readings I'm doing experimentally for the duration of the COVID virus shut-in time. So if that's something for you, or if you'd like to try it, if you haven't had a reading before, or you haven't had one with me before, and you'd like to try it in a taster, then that's a great way to have a taster. All of you are in the Ask Lucca Live group now, so if you would like to invite anybody in, you're welcome to invite people in. You have the power to do that because you're part of the community. So thank you everybody for joining me today. I'll see you next week on Ask Lucca Live at 1:30 Pacific time. Get your questions into me by noon. Take care.